there, Dugan here. I've decided to write some short stories about a few of my dog experiences and those of some of my friends. I think you might find them interesting, possibly educational or even enlightening, but most of all just plain old entertaining. First off, a little history as to how I came to live here on the horse farm where so many of my stories originate. It was a few years ago when the leaves on the trees were turning red and gold and the days were getting shorter. For quite some time I lived next door at a different horse farm. There are lots of horses that live there, as well as goats, peacocks, cats, and at least as many dogs as horses. My friend that owns that other horse farm tried to find a family that would adopt me, and on 4 different occasions I got in a stranger's car and went off to a new home, and each time I knew immediately it was just not right for me. Oh, these people are all really nice, and they really wanted me, but the jobs just were not what I dreamed about, so I would find my way back to the farm. I soon realized that if I wanted to be happy and fulfilled in my life, I would need to look for work myself. I really liked working where I was, and there was plenty of work to do, but the owner had lots of help already. I decided to take a look around the neighborhood, and to my amazement, there was another horse farm right next door. It had lots of land, lots of horses, people coming and going, cats to chase, and the only dogs I encountered did not live there. They just came to visit and would go home with their people each day. The owner of the farm had lots of dogs in the past, but had decided that when the last dog passed on, she would have no more dogs at the farm. She had lots of cats and horses, but no dogs. I knew that this was where I wanted to be. Every morning I would get up very early and head to my new job. I would spend all of my day taking care of that place, making sure that all was as it should be. I would sit with the owner when she gave riding lessons and watched her when she was training the horses, and intermittently I would survey the property, making sure everything was in order. The owner lives on the property nearby the barn, and when she would go home in the evening, I would follow running beside the car. I would wait outside to be invited in, but it was very clear that she didn't want another dog, as she would never invite me in or give me anything to eat. Occasionally I would jump up on the picnic table on the deck to get a look in the kitchen window and imagine what it would be like to live in that house. Eventually I would have to call it a day, as I would be very hungry and tired after the full day's work. Each day the weather was getting colder, and sometimes it would rain or snow. I would then walk back to the other farm, where I knew if I got there before the owner went to sleep, I would always find an evening meal and a warm bed. Every morning, without fail, as soon as I got out the door, I would run back to the new job and meet the owner and spend the entire day with her, running after her car, checking and surveying the grounds, watching her teach and train the horses and riders, and every evening I would follow her home and wait on the porch to be invited in to stay. This continued for most of the cold weather time. I remained unconditionally loyal to my job, the farm, and the owner. I don't exactly remember what month or what day it was, but I do remember it was being very cold and dark when I followed her home this one particular evening. I sat on the porch for what seemed to be a very long time, but I was more determined than ever to let her see what a wonderful loyal helper and companion I was, and with all my heart I hoped she would invite me in to come and stay and maybe have a little supper. It seemed very late, it was cold and rainy, and I was very hungry. I thought I had better head back before the owner of the other farm went to bed, and I would have to spend the night outside and miss my dinner. As I walked away, I thought I heard something and looked back at the house. It was nothing. So I continued that disappointing journey that I had made so many times before. Just in case, I looked back one more time just to make sure I hadn't heard something, but really, there was nothing there. As I took a few more steps toward the other farm, I heard her call my name. "Dugan," she called. "Dugan, come on!" I couldn't believe my ears. I couldn't believe my eyes. She was calling me back. She was inviting me in. She fed me dinner. Cat food, as I remember. She asked if I would like to stay and live in the house at the new farm. Every day since that day, I do my job at the new farm. Almost every day I visit the other farm just to make sure everything is okay there as well. I am with the owner of the new farm and my best friend. All day, every day, except when she drives away in her car. She invites me to go with her sometimes, but I really don't like riding in cars. I never want to leave this place, and she always comes back, so I just wait. I am very good at waiting.